I've told you this before, and but so if I've got to just think for a moment, and anything in particular. What about you? Anything exciting happened for you?
No, we're about to get rained on again, but apart from that,
I'm looking forward to our first rain. Goodness me.
Yeah, I think we're due for like one of those rain, like thunderstorms that just comes and sits there for like 3 days, doesn't move, you know. So, but anyway, that's the nature of the climate at the moment. So,
yeah, but you know, with the nature of our climate, which is a Mediterranean climate, we should have started rain already. We usually start our rain in autumn, and then into winter, right through winter.
I didn't realise that. Didn't realise that it was the wet season in winter.
Yeah. We don't get rain in summer. In fact, we didn't get one single bit of rain this past summer and spring. Okay. Our last rain here now was at the end of winter last year.
It's been a bad fire season there too, I think, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely, fire season. I mean, we regularly in summer have like 4 fires a day in different locations, this last summer we were relatively. I mean, the closest was probably about 5 kilometers away to us, whereas the previous year it was probably about 1 kilometer away. And so it's really not a comfortable situation at the moment.
No.
Yeah.
And how's your garden growing?
Yeah, it's I've cleaned it up after the summer and planted some little plants, sort of annuals that will grow well in winter, and I've trimmed back some of the bushes that have grown sort of out of proportions, you know, and some they mostly indigenous bushes that I bought from my indigenous nursery and planted them over the years. And and this time of the year too, our roses seem to really do well, and because then I usually trim them right back about the middle of winter, and so it's the last roses, but we didn't get too many roses during the summer, so but we're getting them now.
Was it just too hot?
Yeah, the roses don't mind the heat generally, and we've most of my roses, I'm looking at them now as I'm talking to you, they mostly in the shade of the house, on the southern side of the house, and so they don't get a lot of direct sun, except maybe for like midsummer.
Okay.
But then I have one rose bush that's out in the sun winter and summer that I'm also looking at now, and but it has a peculiar behavior. It flowers profusely. Okay, you know, I trimmed it the day before yesterday. Not trimmed. I just trimmed the dead flowers off, and I see another 3 there. But what's peculiar about that one is that it will grow flowers and they will open and they will last 2 days and they die.
Okay.
All of them, every time, every rose on it. Okay, and it's got a sweet scent, but I've never known a rose to last 2 days and die.
Wow, yeah, that's quick, isn't it?
Yeah. So I have no idea why that is, and I haven't been bothered to research either. It might be missing a nutrient or something. Yeah, how's your garden going?
Oh, it's a bit of a jungle at the moment. Yeah, with all the rain, it's been hard to sort of get out there and clean it up. So seems to be raining a lot on weekends lately. So I just don't have a chance to get out there and mow as often as it needs to be mowed. And
Yeah.
so, in one part of the garden, I got this. It's been there for ages now. This problem with this. It's like a creeper, or almost like a vine. The local name for it is mile a minute.
Okay.
It pretty much just about is too. It
Okay.
grows prolifically, but just across the surface.
Yeah.
And you try and pull it up, and it just breaks off in your hands. It's really hard to sort of get it out altogether.
Is it has it got a juicy thick leaf, or what is it?
No, quite a fine leaf.
Fine. Okay.
Yeah, but it's just so invasive. So, and I've tried poisoning it at some stages in the past, like with just the garden poisons and that, but it doesn't seem to make any difference. But anyway, I'm not a big fan of using poisons, but I've tried sort of digging as much out of as I can and then put a thick layer of mulch on it, but a couple of days it's back on the surface. So I don't know.
It's interesting because I have a creeper that I intentionally planted it. I found it in the forest a couple of years ago, and it grows profusely. But then it grows all over the other plants.
Yeah, well, this is like that. It just covers everything,
Yeah, it's and it's got a pretty little flower, but it's when I cleaned up now for the winter, I took it right back now. It was all over the place, and it doesn't mind the sun. Okay, the sun didn't bother it. I guess that's why it's an indigenous thing. But the other thing that grows wild is mint.
Oh, okay.
And it just goes, and it also goes underground maybe for a meter or two, and then comes up again, and then it pulls up very easily because it's just under the surface. But there's a lot that you've got to do to keep it back. And every now and again, I throw some in my green smoothie, but you can't put too much because it's so strong.
Yeah. I see you had your microgreens going again. Yeah.
Yeah. How do you know that?
Oh, I think I saw it somewhere, Facebook or an email or something. I'm not sure.
Yeah. Probably from I do. I grow them virtually all the time. I had problems in summer. I just couldn't find the right environment in my house. I knew what they wanted, but I couldn't easily establish it. But about 4 weeks ago, I started again, and it's growing well now. It's not difficult to find the right environment in autumn and winter.
Yeah.
You can always apply heat, but if the air's too dry and it's too hot, I just couldn't find it. Yeah, but and I always put in microgreens into my green smoothies. Yeah. Yeah.
How long did they take to harvest? Was it just a few days or a bit longer than that?
Yeah, it depends on it's horses for courses when it comes to microgreens. The quickest ones will be from planting and putting into darkness, which you leave in darkness for 3 days, and then you take them up. And the best ones will be ready to harvest. Not the best ones. Certain seeds will be ready to harvest in another 3 days. And then others, will take maybe 14 days. And if you cut them properly, you get more than one crop from them. Okay. And so I find for me that what really works well are sunflower seeds. and pea seeds. Okay.
Okay.
They both grow quickly, and they grow pretty tall, and I just let them grow until I'm ready to use them and cut them, and that works well. Things like broccoli, they grow slower, much slower, and if they don't have the right environment, they don't grow very tall. So you've got to harvest them, quite quickly.
Yeah.
And yeah, and so all sorts of things. I mean, all seeds, radishes as well, interesting. But the peas have the only microgreen that has a sweetness. They taste like a pea in a pod.
Yeah.
The microgreen.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, do you grow any food?
I've got a couple of pawpaw trees out in the front yard, but they feed the bats more than anything. So, but I suppose I could put some netting over it or something. But it's very prolific though, so I actually don't mind them feeding the wildlife. But it's interesting actually. I've noticed that, like when the fruit starts to ripen,
yeah,
they'll generally eat half of it, and then come back the next day and eat the other half.
yeah. I love that.
They make a heck of a mess, though. I don't know how their digestive system works, but I don't think much stays in their system for very long. When the mulberry tree out in the front's in fruit, the whole front of the house gets spray painted with this purple.
Yes.
It's just disgusting,
But mulberries are really healthy. Are they the purple mulberry?
Yeah, they're the big purple ones.
Really healthy. I could write an article on mulberries.
Okay.
Yeah. So you can also store them. You can freeze them as well. So it's always great to have. Let's call it a berry. I don't know if it's classified as a berry or not, or just a fruit because of the tree. But the smaller fruits like blackberry and blueberry and not so much strawberry are really, really nutritious.
They're full of seeds, that I can attest to that, having to wash the car just about every day when it's in fruit. But
yeah. You don't park underneath it, do you?
No. It seems they feast on the tree, and as they're flying away, they drop their load. So I feel like putting a big sign up there if I knew how to write in fruit bat language. Don't eat this; it'll upset your stomach. But anyway,
pick another route.
Yeah. The whole driveway just gets coated. It's just.
Yeah, I remember I used to in South Africa had a mulberry bush. I didn't realize at the time just how, they were very tasty and we ate a lot of them and so on, but I didn't realize just quite how nutritious they were then.
Okay. Yeah, they're quite prolific fruiter, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Normally fruit's like twice a year.
Oh, does it? Okay. Not recall. Yeah. Never paid much attention to it.
So how was your Easter? Did you get up to anything at all? Or?
No, we didn't. We were planning to, a week before on the Monday to go out because that was the anniversary date of when we first met 12 years ago. And but we both woke up not feeling well, so we just stayed at home. So no, we didn't do anything at all, other than just what I always do is sit in front of my computer, and I love it.
So does Sue still get to see the grandkids, or is that a bit hard?
Yeah, they came around because over the Easter weekend, on the Saturday night they came around. and whenever they come around, the mother came this time as well, and just dropped them off, and the grandchild, the oldest granddaughter, made an enormous big milk tart for us. We all ate it, and then we played cards on Saturday evening.
Nice.
Yeah, so that was nice. But Sue and I were saying after the next day that both granddaughters, because it's just two girls, so one's 15 and the other one's 12 or something like that, maybe 11, I don't know. But they both cheat at cards. Okay, when they're with us by themselves without the mother, we tend to just overlook it, because otherwise it makes it miserable to. But mother wouldn't let it go. Right? She was annoyed with them because she said, it showed them and pointed out where they were cheating, and they said, then they would say sorry, because now they used to cheating without being pointed out. So that wasn't fun. We think, why? Why can't they just enjoy a game?
Yeah.
I can't remember my kids. We used to play a lot of cards and board games when they were growing up. I suppose because we didn't have internet and stuff like that. And yeah, it was great fun. And but anyway, so that is our weekend. What about yours?
Yeah, pretty quiet. I was really quite tired, so I just rested and just tried to recover. So, and I mean, there was things I could have done, but I just thought, oh no, it's more important to, sometimes when you get really, really tired, like you wake up tired, and I hate that feeling, and it's like, so I think I decided to listen to the body and think, no, we're just going to rest and recover.
So what do you do when you rest? I mean, do you read, or do you?
Yeah, normally read, and sometimes watch, like a podcast or something like that. But yeah, just listen to some music.
Yeah.
Just try and relax.
Do you enjoy listening to?
Oh, it just depends on what mood I'm in. I'll listen to anything. Actually, it's funny, on Spotify they've got.
This is it's one of these spam things. Terribly frustrating. Anyway, sorry.
On Spotify they've got an AI who chooses music for you based on your listening history and stuff like that. So
I've never used Spotify.
Yeah, so it's quite clever. So I just thought, oh, well, just go your hardest, So.
Yeah.
But if you don't like something, you just skip to the next song, sort of thing. But it's quite clever though, how it sort of does that, But,
yeah. Okay. What type of app is it?
Basically, it started out as music, but now they've sort of expanded to like audiobooks and podcasts and stuff like that as well.
Okay.
I think their claim to fame was that, unlike other music apps where you'd have to download stuff, this would just stream it, and it would be like no buffering. It would just be click on play and it plays, So, which is sort of pretty amazing technology when you think about it. But,
Yeah.
So yeah, well, yeah, I don't mind it, So like sometimes you feel like just listening to a particular artist or whatever, but with that, yeah, if I just just surprise me.
So. Okay, it's interesting because I don't often just sit and listen to music unless I'm watching something where somebody's playing, some, like, Britain's Got Talent or There's Got Talent and The Voice. I enjoy those sort of programs because I really enjoy a good voice. Okay? And it relaxes me immensely just listening to somebody who just you just feel it that it really knows how to sing and sings well.
It's a very special talent, isn't it? So
yeah. And so I don't tend to watch all the let's say the contestants because half of them are junk. Okay. And so I look on what you can do on YouTube. Just look for the best 20 or something.
The trouble is these days with those TV programs, in my view, is they try and make it like reality TV. Good guys, bad guys, and all that sort of stuff. You think,
yeah.
Enough with the drama. Just let them perform.
Do you watch any movies?
Sometimes. Yeah, sometimes. I watched that. I wasn't very impressed with it, actually. That Oppenheimer. I watched that.
Did you? Okay.
It goes for 3 hours though. It's like a big, long movie. But yeah, I wasn't very impressed with it.
Yeah.
I must say, like this. But the one thing that sort of astounded me, like, it's like when the US was developing like nuclear weapons, their budget was something like 20% of the national GDP.
Yeah.
Like it was all consuming,
Yeah.
Just incredible. For a weapon of mass destruction, it's hard to sort of fathom, isn't it? But
yeah. Have you any idea what it is now?
I got no idea whatsoever. But I can imagine that must be some enormous amount of money is dedicated to weapons and technology for military purposes and that sort of stuff.
But even Australia is spending an inordinate amount of money at the moment.
Well, that I suppose you have to be careful what you say, but like that submarine deal, you just sort of think, is that a good thing?
Well, it's not, okay. Absolutely, it's not, okay. But you can justify it, or if you somebody's going to fight you want to fight them back. You can see what's happening in the Middle East and in other countries, and you and I have spoken about this,
It's a sad indictment on humanity, really, but I guess that's the human condition, though, isn't it? It really seems to be the make of the beast, doesn't it? So.
Yes. The people that are left now, the 6 million or so that are left on the planet, it's almost like their last chance to make themselves right as individuals, and then onwards. Now,
But it's interesting, because like even in your comment before about the grandkids sort of cheating at playing at cards, like in their mind they probably can't see anything wrong with it, it's just it's just how I win, but you sort of think about how that plays out, it's the very same thinking that has people killing each other, I guess, doesn't it? And vicious propaganda which circles the globe in minutes, and things like that. You just think, it's quite astounding, really. But,
yeah.
It's interesting in the sense that, you know, I don't know about you, with maybe it's, you know, the wisdom that comes with, you know, at this stage of life. But, you know, sometimes I just look at things like it could be just, you know, I could be just driving somewhere and someone just does something really stupid and you just think, you know, like this morning, you know, it just sort of occurred to me, like someone just pulled straight out in front of me, didn't even stop. Like I had to jam on the brakes pretty hard. And I looked in my rear vision mirror and there was no one behind me, you know, and I'm thinking,
Yeah.
you know, like 10 seconds, you know, but anyway.
Yeah.
Mm, mm.
Yeah. Yeah. We spoke last week about people who get angry and
Yeah, yeah.
impulsive and
Mm,
react. Yeah.
mm. Yeah, I'm quite mindful now not to get angry. I'm probably more curious about it than anything now. It's just like,
Yeah.
really?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, what was so urgent that you just had to pull out? You know? But anyway. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I sort of wonder whether it's sort of like just symptomatic of, like even like just manners, you know, like just saying thank you to people and things like that, you know. You know, I look at some people, it used to make me really annoyed, but when I look at people, they might be like standing at a, you know, at a coffee shop, ordering a coffee, and they can't even look at the person who's serving them. They're busy looking at their phone or, you know, you're thinking, oh, goodness, really? Can't you just be present to that person?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
You know, after all, they are serving you. Mm.
Yeah.
Maybe it's those, maybe you just notice those so-called little things, which in reality aren't little at all, you know, so.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or maybe it's just a sign of my fatigue. I don't know. Mm.
Have you got angry at any customers lately?
No, not really. You know, I had a really weird interaction with the guy the other day. He was after this little tool that it makes grinding wheels flat, you know, so that, and the nature of the tool is it's got just diamond encrusted on one side of it. So when you put it up against the grinding wheel, it just sort of makes it, abrades it so it just becomes flat. And he was most indignant, you know. He's like, we're talking about like a $15 tool or something, you know. And the description of the tool is, you know, it's called a wheel doctor, and it's coated with synthetic diamonds.
I remember you told me last week.
Oh, and it's just like,
Yeah, that's what I was referring to.
yeah,
You getting angry? Any more customers?
yeah, it's just like, I just don't believe this, like, you know.
He was getting upset with you because they weren't authentic diamonds.
Yeah, it's just like, really, like, and it's like a diamond, isn't it? Yeah, how it's made is. Yeah, so I don't know, but I never cease to be dismayed at the questions that people ask, and even just the perception, you know, like especially about things like you know, if they've bought something and it's been shipped to them, you know, somehow you're responsible if it hasn't turned up within a certain time frame. You know, it's like, well, once it leaves the premises, it's in the hands of like Australia Post or a courier or.
Yeah.
But oh, you know, and when you look at what they've ordered, you just sort of think to yourself, well, what's the hurry? You know, like yeah,
Yeah.
it's just. But I think it's also part of that mindset now that you know, and I think maybe I sort of you know put my hand up and say I struggle with it a little bit in the sense that you know, like with the youth of today, you know, like everything's instantaneous. If I'm hungry, I just order some food, and in a short time later, it turns up.
Yeah.
You know, if I want something, I just do this, or if I, you know, and I just sort of think, oh, it's sort of like this. Yeah, I've decided, snap my fingers, where is it? You know, so it's yeah, very different. Like, you know, I used to joke with my kids and my grandkids. You know, I sort of say to them, you know, do you realise that, you know, our first TV, like we didn't have a TV for years and years after we got married, and our first TV was this little box that was about 12 inches by 12 inches, and it was in black and white, and there were like 4 TV channels, and and, and to change the channel, you have to physically get out of your chair. And
Sorry, my wife is phoning me.
yeah, sure, okay.
Okay, let me just. Hello.
Hi, Steve. How are you?
I'm fine. Is it?
Just phoning to tell you that because of the fire accident at Sheep on the highway, we still have 45 kids.
Okay. Okay, so you're going to be late. That's what you're saying.
I think so, yeah. I don't know if the thing was, but I don't know if you hear on the news, a sheep fell off the truck.
Yeah.
Car accident, the one car that stands on the side of the highway.
No, I didn't. No, I'm talking to Don at the moment.
Okay.
So.
All right, so that's what's happening. And,
Okay.
That's where we are.
All right, I'll see you later then. Don't worry about her rushing home. Bye. You heard that. The problem with there's a fire and sheep on the highway and accidents on the highway, and so the parents can't come and collect their kids because they're blocked from their school.
That'd be a bit stressful. Yeah.
So they all phone in to say they're stuck on the freeway and can't collect their kids. Anyway.
Yeah, but I was saying, I often joke with the kids, like, you know, like, and to change the channel, you'd have to get up out of your chair and walk up to the TV and change the channel, and you know, it's like, oh, like, like it's sort of hard for them to even comprehend, you know, and that there's no such thing as mobile phones. Like the only phone you had was, if you had a phone, it was, you know,
Yeah.
You know, and you say to them, like, do you know how to dial a number? No, like, how did you do that? You know?
Do you remember the first, what was the brand, those big things that used to hold you, the first sort of...
oh, yeah.
I forget.
They were like a brick, weren't they? You know?
Yeah, they were exactly like a brick, yeah. Yeah. I was reading an article this week where he was, well, actually a book I was reading. He was talking about where it all started, you know, and it first started with Star Trek science fiction.
Yeah.
People were communicating with each other around the ship, you know.
Yeah.
And they would, and that was like crazy, man. Just, and still in our time, we're able to do it.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I mean, I went and saw both my brothers. So I had the day off work today, and we had to catch up and do a few things together.
Yeah.
And my younger brother's got a new Tesla,
Okay.
you know, the electric car, and
yeah,
you know, and so different, you know, like I was just.
What was it like?
It was a bit eerie in one sense, like perfectly quiet, so just silent while you're driving along, and there's no door handles on it. Like to open the door, you just push a button and the door opens, and there's no gauges like on the opposite the steering wheel. There's just this big sort of like TV screen in the middle, and everything is displayed on that, you know. And
when you say everything, what are you referring to?
oh, like the speed and all the information about the car, and you know, when you put the indicator on, you know, you see a flashing arrow on the screen rather than where you'd normally see it, sort of thing. And it has cameras all around the car, so you have this sort of 360-degree view around the car on the screen. And just like quirky stuff, like when he parked the car and we got out, to go into a cafe and have some lunch, because it doesn't have a key. Like the mobile phone is the key for the car,
Yeah.
And so we got out the car and we're walking over to the cafe, and all of a sudden the car quacks like a duck. And I said, "What on earth is that?" And he says, "Oh, it's just letting me know that the car's locked." I said, like quacks like a duck. He says, "Oh, you can make it do anything you like. You can make it fart, or you can have a bell ringing, or you can." I said, "Okay." And then when we came back to the car after lunch, we jumped in, and this alert came up and said, "Oh, these people have been near your car." And then there was a video of us walking back to the car.
Okay.
Wow. Yeah, just stuff like that. It's like, oh,
does it park itself?
I don't know. I guess it could do. I don't know. He didn't, like, he just drove in, so it wasn't any reverse parking or anything.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
But it's just, yeah, but it's sort of unusual the way, like, it's perfectly quiet. Like, there's no engine noise or anything. It's just, yeah.
What a pleasure.
Yeah, just perfectly quiet. And, yeah. So, yeah, no, really different, And he's like the next generation, which is due out, I think, next year or something, is the platform for driverless cars, so that'll have that ability apparently.
Yeah.
So I think that would be a big step for me. Maybe I'm, I suppose it's just having the confidence, isn't it?
Yeah, I think we're so used to the AI just proving to such a degree in all aspects of our life that I mean, I know that it's flying. It's flying jumbo aeroplanes, so you can take them off and land in them, and but tell that to a passenger and they won't get on. So,
but I think the thing with the AI too, it's probably at a stage of development now where it's quite noticeable. Like, I think it's, in my mind anyway, it's quite noticeable that it's replacing certain types of work.
Yeah.
Even more so. And I think the dilemma for humanity, provided we don't kill ourselves in the meantime, will be, what does it mean when AI replaces, a significant amount of traditional type of work? Is that the time when, governments have to provide everyone with a living wage or something? I mean, I don't know. I don't know what the answer to that is, but because even like examples of it, and I'm sure there's lots of factories like it, but even Elon Musk has said that, with the next generation of car that he wants to build, in his factories, he doesn't want any humans, apart from just management people, but it'll all be done by robots and AI. So.
Yeah. And that's really what, and Elon Musk is a typical example, that's what the direction he wants it to go in. But he's very scared about which direction it's going to go in. Yeah, I do a lot of research and reading about it because it's a topic that interests me, and I do classes on it as well.
But I mean, just if you look at, I guess we don't know much about it, but I'm assuming that if you look at like military applications and that, the proliferation of like drone technology and that, which, they're flying these things all around the world, probably from the other side of the world, so.
Yeah. Absolutely. And they're dropping bombs, these drones, absolutely where they want them. And we've seen it right now with the wars, both big wars that are on at the moment. And it's, yeah, I think the thing that you said that is really the big bugger is they could be piloted from anywhere in the world.
Yeah.
And that's the terrible thing. So you can't knock down where it's been flown from. Okay. You can't go and bomb that particular building.
No.
Because it could be in a totally another country on the other side of the world. It could be in the Antarctic. Yeah.
Or even on the moon or in a satellite or anywhere. You just don't know, do you? You know. So
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's certainly one industry which is flourishing. That's for sure.
But you know, just more personal. You know, as I mentioned to you earlier, it was my anniversary with Sue, and I intended to make her a card and write. I have historically, you know, the whole I've known her, you know, I've always created a card and wrote something, you know, something, you know, a paragraph or 2 or 3, you know. And, anyway, I sat down to do it a week ago, and I thought, okay, well, let me just see if I can get some help from ChatGPT or Gemini, and it caused a dilemma, Don, because it was so, within me. It was so well written, both of them, totally different, obviously, but they were so well written. I read it and I thought, but that's not me. Okay, that's not me, and it so upset me because I knew I couldn't write like that. Okay? And I wasn't prepared to give it to Sue. Okay, and I waited for Tuesday to tell her. You know, she probably wonders why she hasn't got a card, and this is the reason: is that and she fully understood. Okay, because she would have known if I had given her the verse that is written by an AI. Okay, and I couldn't bring myself to write again because of, you know, reading theirs. It just poisoned my mind in a way. And
I think that's one of the challenges, isn't it? Is sort of having the presence of mind to say, no, actually, I'm going to create this myself.
Yeah, in hindsight, yes. Okay, I agree. I've also been experimenting now for a number of months on AI generating images. Beautiful.
Okay.
It really does a good job. No matter what I ask for, and so I thought I would, make a beautiful card and then write something, and then I decided, well, they're going to write. And I don't know what I will do next year. I think it's fine if I was writing something, let's say for you, and I wanted to wish you happy birthday, okay, or somebody else's anniversary or something like that.
But when you're writing from the heart, though, it's a different thing, isn't it?
Yeah, you just acknowledging that it's their anniversary or birthday or whatever it is, and whoever it is. But
and I don't think there's anything wrong with that in the sense that, it can be quite an efficient use of time in terms of the quality output and stuff like that. I don't think there's anything wrong with that at all. But as you say, when you want to write something from you, then it can only come from you, can't it?
Yeah. But like for example, when I did, I think I sent you a couple. The whatever they call it, from the 1st of December until Christmas time. Advent. Then I used to create a different image and I wanted a message. So I would research the message and then put it onto the image. So the message largely came from me because it was a one sentence. And then I did do some research on sort of Advent sayings and things, and which helped me. I then changed it to suit my, because it's usually only a sentence or two, and I enjoyed doing that. And every image was a different one as well. But
I find it good, like if you're looking for like inspiration, like ideas and stuff like that, it's good that it can present that really efficiently,
Yeah.
Like for example, like earlier this afternoon, I was there looking at about key points to consider when you're like from a work perspective wanting to be a leading retailer, for example. And within 30 seconds, it's given me like 10 points,
Yeah.
I thought, oh, that's a good one. I wouldn't have thought of that, Oh, yeah, okay.
Sure, absolutely.
Yeah. But it does, as you've said previously, though, you need to be quite precise and careful what you ask it. Because the more that you can put some scope and shape to the question and consideration of the question, the better the quality of the output for sure.
Yeah. And you've got to learn to understand your AI, because I think different words, because I'm forever comparing ChatGPT with Gemini, and I use the identical words. Usually copy and paste what I've created. I create something on a Word document to get my thoughts correct, and then I go to, and they interpret certain words differently.
Okay, that's interesting.
It is interesting, but I'm getting to understand them now more and more and more.
But it must be like a learning technology, I guess, if you try and educate it as to what you mean by certain words too, I guess.
Yeah, but it doesn't remember. Okay?
Oh, really? Okay.
No, it doesn't remember. That's one of the issues. If whatever's up on the screen now, it refers to that and deals with that, however you want to deal with it. Okay, and you can then. I constantly have to rephrase especially with Gemini. Got to rephrase what I've said, or I've got to, make a comment.
So do you think that's like a cultural nuance? Like, do you think like the developers, if like they're from India or something like that, whether that is what shapes some of that, or is it just the way that the technology works?
Yeah, I don't know, Don. I really don't know. I just know that if I'm too general, then I can accept that. Then it's. But I try and not be general. What have I done? I mean, I've obviously even done today. Today I was recreating a class for Get Set Up on inside the pyramids.
Okay.
And I had content. I mean, it's been an interest of mine for many years, and I wanted something, maybe that's been recently discovered, but something that would be sort of a wow, just a mummy discovered in another passage.
Well, they're constantly learning, I think, aren't they?
Yeah. So, and Gemini has, minute up to date access to. I've mentioned this before. Minute up with the internet, whereas ChatGPT, it gets loaded from time to time with all the information on the internet. So it's not up to date today. If you ask, ChatGPT, tell me about the fire last week that destroyed the factory in Perth. Okay, and they'll come back and say, I don't have any contact with that, whereas Gemini will actually give you links to images and explain what happened and how many people died and up to date. So depending what you're looking for, when you're talking about pyramids, it doesn't really matter. But if you're talking about discoveries in the last maybe 3 or 4 months, then you've got to have Gemini. Yeah. Anyway, it's interesting, and I enjoy using them. I really do.
Well, I'm like you in the sense that I think it's quite a privilege to be able to use them, particularly when you're trying to use them, from a constructive, creative mindset. I know that with some of them, or so I believe, I haven't experienced it firsthand, but that if you asked it, like, tell me how to build a bomb, it probably says, well, my understanding is it says, oh no, I can't tell you about that, but.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty sure it would. Pretty sure. But let's rather come to home. You interviewed 3 ladies, okay? Now, if you had asked, let's say Gemini after that, put in the woman, gave him the Gemini the person's name and said that you were going to interview them, what would be appropriate questions to ask her, an insight into her work for the viewers. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure, because what Gemini would have done would have searched for her on the internet. Okay. Found out what she does and what materials she works with and so on, and then come up with some questions. You didn't try that, did you?
No. It's really interesting that you say that. No.
Yeah. So if you're going to do any more, involve particularly Gemini, so that it gets the latest information from the internet.
Yeah. I haven't used Gemini as yet, so yeah, that's.
Yeah, but try it. It's free, okay. And it's. I think you'll, even if you pretend, go back on those interviews and as if you hadn't done them yet. Yeah. Yeah.
No, actually, it'd be interesting, just as a matter of curiosity, to see what sort of questions it generates.
Yeah.
Yeah, I should try that actually.
And then try different angles when you ask Gemini. Okay. Try sort of say you want a quirky angle. Okay. A fun angle, fun questions, or serious questions about her work that other people can learn from, or something like that. So depending on how you word it, you're going to get different questions. Okay?
Yeah.
I'd be interested to see what you come up with.
Yeah, no, it's a really interesting experiment, even just for my own curiosity. Yeah. So.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely. I'll do that.
That's great. Yeah.
Well, that might be a good time to leave it, I guess.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
Well, I look forward to catching up next week, as always. So.
Likewise, likewise. And are you back at work full time now?
Yeah, back to work tomorrow and full time. Yeah.
Okay.
Still thinking about that. Maybe I should ask AI what I should do.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Are you feeling otherwise about full-time work?
I am, in the sense that it kind of touches on the issues that we've even spoken about tonight. Like sometimes I sort of think to myself, is like spending the amount of time and mental thinking time and stuff like that on doing this particular type of work. You know, is that in the best interest of humanity? And there's a big underlying assumption that I can have some sort of influence on humanity's future, which obviously, you know, I don't think I can. But I just sort of think to myself, like, is there something else I should be doing or thinking about or doing? So that's sort of an ongoing inquiry in my mind at the moment. So.
But remember, you can make a difference just by your thinking, using your brain as a tool to think, okay, contemplate, okay, and then allowing the answer to come. And that might just be that process in itself goes into the matrix and is part and parcel of what are the mere fact that you're thinking of it, okay, is helping humanity.
Yeah.
Because, you know, humanity needs to think about it. Okay. Humanity needs to make some decisions and take some actions. Okay. So I think you're helping humanity immensely by thinking about it, because those thoughts are definitely need to be more emphasized. You know, we need certain presidents in the world to start thinking about what they're doing.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and why they're doing it. Yeah. Anyway.
Very good. Okay.
Okay. See you Wednesday.
Wednesday. Yep, that'd be good. See you now. Bye.
Cheers. Bye.